and live with Jerome Matiyas, author of Makonnen, the Warrior of Light, if I don't go wrong. How are you today, Jerome?
Doing well, doing well. It's a nice Friday afternoon here in Baltimore, Maryland. And yeah, it's sunny outside, but it's cold. Yeah,
Okay, sunny but cold.
cold, yeah.
So for those of that don't know you, tell me a little bit about you, Jerome. What is it you do? What's your story? Introduce yourself, please.
Yes, so yeah, my name is Jerome Matiyas. I was born and raised in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, the most southern island in the Caribbean. It's next to Venezuela, and moved to the United States of America about roughly 23 years ago. And I've been living in the Baltimore, DC, Virginia area since then. And yeah, and so basically, I'm an artist, aspiring artist writer. I have two books published, self-published on Amazon so far, and I published my first book in 2019 called Makonnen, the Warrior of Night, the Warrior of Light. It's about an Ethiopian warrior during the time of the Empire of Aksum, which was located in modern day Ethiopia and Eritrea area. But the Aksumite Empire also ruled over much of the Horn of Africa, including Sudan. It also ruled probably parts of Somalia, if I'm not correct, and also Yemen, what today is called Yemen. Back then, in ancient times and medieval times, it was called Sheba or Saba. So the Sabaeans with Yemen, now it's called Yemen, which I think means right hand or something like that. And yeah, so what happened is, growing up in Trinidad, I always just wanted to make. Before I go there, I'm also by trade a graphic designer, web designer, visual designer. I also have a degree in IT software, but I also studied user interface and user experience design. You know, um, but yeah, right now I'm trying to branch off on my own, be self-employed, work more on my books.
Okay, so you are self-employed. You work with art. You are a professional graphic designer. You are good at I think probably drawing in general, right? Because you have to be good with a
Yeah,
pencil, etc. So you live
right.
off your art doing paintings or doing independent jobs for
Not so much paintings, but graphic design like services for clients, like flyers, booklets, posters, even in the full-time jobs I've had in the past. Worked a lot in ads, and I worked in the marketing department. As the graphic as well in the one of the graphic designers. And
as a graphic expert, which is pretty good for you, right? In this historical moment with the pandemic, you can really work from home,
I
right?
can
As
work
long
from
as
home.
you have
Yeah,
a good graphical computer, maybe a Mac or some computer, some specialized computer, you can run it all of it. You can run it from. I'm gonna try like that. You can run it all from remote. Okay,
correct.
from what I understand, you based your story, the Makone, the Warrior of Light, based on some on the geographical area, because I remember from your previous book presentation you had some maps, etc. So you gave it some historical context. So let's talk a little bit about your journey. Okay, your journey to Africa, and because somewhere between Trinidad of Tobago, moving to the United States. Then you find your way. You found your way to Africa. How did that happen?
Yeah. So what happened is, I in Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean in general, we are exposed to the sounds and the history, and influenced a little bit by uh, Ethiopia, through the culture, through like the Rastafarian movement, and also through like some of the reggae music. They mentioned Ethiopia so many times. They mentioned Haile Selassie so many times. Even though Rastafarian is a small movement, but it seems like it's very influential. In Trinidad, the the belief is mostly Christian and also Hinduism and Islam, Muslim in Trinidad and Tobago. But there's also just just like Jamaica, there's the Rastafarians, and even in the Christian beliefs in the church, being in a country that's people mostly of color, we go to the Bible for inspiration, and we see Ethiopia mentioned so many times in the Bible. So my pastor and spiritual leaders would talk about, look, you see, God loves everybody. He blesses everyone. Everyone, Africans are not just slaves. We have in the Bible. You see, we have kingdoms. We have, they even help the Israelites sometimes in wars, and even Moses was in Egypt, and there's even some writings that Moses even went to Ethiopia. There's some stories about that he went before he was called by the God of the Israelites. He probably went to Ethiopia or Sudan around there. So yeah, so my pastor in Trinidad, he would just mention sometimes in a sermon about, hey, look at Ethiopia, God, even in Psalms it says, Ethiopia shall raise its hand towards God and things like that. And then you have the Ethiopian eunuch in the book of Acts, who was baptized with one of Jesus's disciples, then he went back to, he was visiting Jerusalem, and Philip baptized him, and then that eunuch went back to Ethiopia, and there's a history that he went back and, influenced and started the Ethiopians, back then, not just the modern day Ethiopia, but also Sudan. But yeah, so when I was in China, I did a lot of research. I got intrigued with when we go back. So me and my brother, we always like comic books and animation, and fantasy movies, sci-fi movies, and then we had friends that were also doing the same thing. So we wanted to make our own comic books and make our own stories, and looking at the heroes in movies and TV, back then even it's better now, but back then most of the heroes you saw were mostly Eurocentric. Most of the heroes were, like, for instance, Ben-Hur. You have Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia. These were my favorite stories. Lord of the Rings especially, and King Arthur stories. You also have the heroes that were mostly of European descent, and even Asian movies. That you have the kung fu, you have Indian movies that we watched. But most of the time when they show the stuff that had to do with Africa, it's always about, most of the time it's about slavery, and most of the time it's about, even if it's a modern thing, they'll show like the famines going on in Africa, or they'll show the wars, or they'll show jungles or people living in primitive. You rarely see the kingdoms and the empires and the history that Africans have had, right? So I just got intrigued with that, and I wanted to make my own comic book and story of a hero coming out of Africa. Uh,
Yeah, and
that
that is the same that happened with the Black Panther movie. When we had the superhero Marvel, it was the first movie where
right,
we're all black superheroes, right? Because it was
right,
a widely known, problem. Basically, most heroes were basically white, because
right.
back when you grew up. Now I think things are a little bit
Pretty bad,
changing.
yeah.
They are
Mhm.
moving forward. So
Right.
you kind of wanted to see more of people like you inside the comic books, inside the stories, etc.
Yeah.
Got intrigued into comedy because you came from a mostly black church with black
Mhm.
preachers. They would emphasis on, let's say, positive stories about African people, and focus on the African side of the Christian heritage.
Right.
Somewhat, I think they were Rastafarian friendly, because everyone, for some reason, they probably the preacher, he listened to reggae too. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Even people that did not listen to reggae, they were
Yeah,
aware of the history, because it's from the same source. Rastafarians also, that the some of the things that we from the Bible. It's different belief, different interpretation, but yeah, same source.
yeah, I get it, but yeah, it's different belief.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, everyone inspires. They inspire to the Bible. Then I don't know, maybe probably then they started talking about having a black Jesus instead, or answering to the King Selassie, or, then there's various layers of complexity. Let's speak like that.
Right.
So because you went to Africa, okay, and I've seen you've done it a little bit different, because I've seen when you were showing some during this book presentation, you were showing some pictures, etc. You were showing archaeological sites. You were
Yes.
showing some picture that you portrayed the people in a sort of dignified way, a picture that you
Yeah.
made. It seems that there is a sort of a pathology they I have seen when, for example, some many Caucasian European descent, they put the pictures. They really love to, yeah, like you say, portray the famine that's going
Yeah.
on, and people
Jungle, primitive.
naked
Yeah.
jungles, and a
Happening.
lot of nature. It's
Yeah.
really, they love it, and they really
Yeah.
overplay this.
Right.
Including, I was looking a very interesting, quite interesting podcast on geopolitics, and and when they in this particular circumstance, when they did the episode on Africa, first of all, it was everything about defending, kind of a defensive on the responsibility of the Europeans, and second of all, the video footage, it was about
Yeah.
yeah, jungles, and
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's something
Yeah.
going on there.
And then growing up, that kind of changed the the image of what I thought most of Africa was. So I thought, okay, well, it's a good thing I'm living here in the Caribbean now, because because I'm thinking, okay, well, I guess most of Africa is like was like this, is like this. But when I started to learn things, and I was never like angry, or Europeans, and this and that. I was never. It's never about being angry, or whatever, or being resentful. I just trying to look for the truth, and just to give a positive image, and a true, the true image, and the whole story. There's complexities in every race or nation's story.
Yeah,
Not
part
just
of
one thing.
part of the famine, and there is jungles in Africa, that's
Yeah, of
true.
course. Yeah, but
They
that's not the
have
only thing.
wild animals over there, like fucking
Yeah,
elephants and things we've never seen.
yeah,
Yeah, like most people have in Europe have never seen, and famine, and and
yeah,
hunger. But there is, like you say, various layers of complexity. But regarding you, you have always been looking for sort of the truth of what's really going on.
yeah.
Okay.
Right,
So what was
right.
your experience going to Africa? What did you see? What did you witness? What did you discover? Was it like you expected? What was the good of it? What was the bad of it? And what did you have to understand how to navigate there? Because I suppose that, moving around in America, you move in a certain way, the
Right. Mm-hmm.
transportation, the bus, the car,
Mm-hmm.
all of
Yeah.
these work in one system. As soon as you get to another country, the system is totally different, the language is
Mm-hmm.
different, the people are different, the places you can go, you should be going, the places maybe you shouldn't be going, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
so how was
Yeah.
that experience for
Yeah.
first
It was.
time? And maybe it can be also cultural shock, even if you are, of
Mm,
color. They are not necessarily like you, because you are a man of color from United States. So it's
mm.
you have to understand immediately
It's a
the
bit different.
mentality and what's going on. So I'm curious
Yeah.
about.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, actually, in general, my experience visiting Ethiopia twice was very good. Of course, there's challenges here and there, but in general, I had a great time. I met up with friends. Actually, the first time I went in May and June 2019, I traveled with one of my best friends and his family, his wife and his son and his aunt. We traveled together on the same plane, and then I met with his family over there. So so I was able to travel with some people that I know, and then yeah, and I was able to have like people. You can get a guide. My friend's uncle helped me get into like the museum, and also organized for me to go on a historical trips to the different historical sites, which was Ladibela, Gondor, and Aksum. So yeah, yeah, going there was I felt pretty. welcomed. I didn't stand out because physically I basically look like most like a lot of Ethiopians. At first glance, people most of them think I'm Ethiopian already. So but then when they start, most people there, I do know some Amharic, which is the lingua franca. Of course, Ethiopia has like 80 something languages, but the main official languages.
So 80
Amharic,
something languages in Ethiopia.
correct?
80
Yeah,
language
yeah,
groups. Okay, that's
yeah,
fascinating. Wow.
yeah.
That's
But
really
Amharic,
fascinating.
yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
not
So
I don't know how big is, in terms of I don't know, it's
45.
not a super huge African country that
Yes, actually, Ethiopia is huge.
is
Ethiopia,
huge. From the
not
map
yeah.
it looks really small, but it
Yeah,
actually is,
yeah,
yeah.
no, yeah. I guess compared to the size of Africa, yeah, it's small because Africa is a huge continent. But Ethiopia itself, I mean, within it, I had to fly to, I had to take a plane to fly from Addis Ababa, which is the capital, to Ladibela, and then fly from Ladibela to Gondar, and then fly from Gondar to Aksum. In that order. It wasn't in that order, but I know. And flying is like maybe 1 or 2 hours per region. But if you had to drive, it would take probably would have taken hours or a couple of days to get from those get from one point to the next. So Ethiopia is very big. It's I mean, let me see. I'm trying to think in terms of United States of America. I'm not sure exactly, but several states combined will probably make up the country of Ethiopia and Eritrea, and I'm including Eritrea because historically they've had the same country and history and culture and everything. But yeah, it's very big, and in fact, there's still some regions that that I haven't been to yet that I would like to go to. Particularly in the south. But yeah, in Addis Ababa, you see uh, all people, all the ethnic groups in Addis Ababa, capital. You know, and yeah. So back to my travels. So yeah, so I was able to go 2019, and I was able to see the places that I've been reading about and writing about and drawing for almost 20 years. So I was able, so after all the research, I was able to put things together, and I think I was mostly on point. I was on point, and I was able to go there and kind of confirm some of the things that I learned, and also I learned a few new things also. I was able to learn a few things and make some corrections. Yeah. Yeah, what else? So yeah, went to let me see. So I went to
So I want to learn what are the costs for traveling around Africa? The cost of transportation, of moving around, of maybe hiring some guide or renting a car, or just if you want to start moving around there, and you're planning maybe, let's say, I don't know first of all, how many months did you stay there? How many weeks or months?
4 weeks. 4 weeks the first time. The second time, which was just a few months ago, I stayed 5 weeks.
Okay, so for to stay there, let's say 5 weeks, what and to move around, what are the costs you have to put in mind?
Yeah, you okay? Cost.
If you're not doing anything that's super eccentric, like you're really being, I don't know, sleeping in maybe basic places, or if there's some families or people over there that you make friends, you take, maybe you just, you share some food or something, you're going low on transportation using public services, or
Right,
like if like what like if you're just having like a normal, just trying to pass by, as a simple
right,
traveler looking around, what would
right.
the cost be?
Okay, well, when I stayed in a hotel the first time, like a basic hotel, there's of course different levels, right? So like a basic hotel, you can get it for like $20 or $25 a night, US, 20 or 25 US, which adds up to like maybe 500 something Ethiopian birr, which is Ethiopian money, maybe 800 something birr, the dollar, it's like $1 to 38, 39 birr over there. Yeah, and then if you want to stay like in a guest house, which is a little lower than a hotel, you can spend maybe uh $12 or $15 a night US. If you want to stay in a really good hotel, maybe 4 star, 5 star, you can spend much more, maybe 40, 50 US, even more. That in Addis Ababa, you can yeah. And then with transportation, they have car taxis, sedan taxis. They have van taxis, which are cheaper. Then you have the 3 wheel smaller, what do you call it, bajaj, um, which fit maybe like 3 people, and they kind of could fit through. They kind of zoom around, certain parts of the city, the tight spaces and stuff. So in price range, if you're traveling in a car, it's more than if you're traveling in a van. The van taxis, which the van taxis packs up maybe 10, 15 people, in it. Those, say for instance, they're traveling somewhere, maybe I don't know, I might not be correct. Maybe say you're traveling 4 or 5 kilometers in a car, maybe that'll cost, let's say, 100 or 200 birr. I might not be accurate there, but if you travel that same distance in the van, it might be 5 or 4, 5, 6 birr. So there's, you see the difference there, right?
So that's
Uh,
like some $50, just like something like that, like a ticket.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, yeah. And then if you're traveling in the Bajaj, now when I was in Gondor,
So you can
which is
take a cab and travel a fair amount of distance for what would be $5 or $6 for some kilometers.
yeah, in the van it's cheaper. If you're traveling in the
Sure.
car, and with the car service, you can call in, and they
Yeah.
even have a service that's similar to Uber. That it's called Ride.
Okay.
So they have yellow cabs that you call. They come, you tell them where to pick, you tell them where to pick you up and where you're going, and they'll come to
So you
where
have
you are.
various options. It's
Yeah,
from staying. You can look for guest houses. That means you stay in someone's home. It's like a family. They take you.
yeah, yeah. It could be like a, yeah. It's gonna look like a house. Some
Okay.
guest houses are. The one I stayed in
It's
a
like
couple
some
months ago.
hostel, or you share some room with some people, or it's a family
No,
there.
I had my own room. I had my own room by
Okay, you have
myself.
your own little room by
Yeah,
yourself,
on that room, on room. Yeah.
and then you
hmm
cook for yourself. You'll cook for yourself, or you go out
Um,
buy some food.
we can cook. The guest house I stayed in January. They had a cook there. They cook for you, but you had the option. You have the option to go out and buy food also, or you
Okay,
can
so
cook for.
there is
You can
like various people that stay in this house. There is someone
Well,
who
the
cooks.
one that I was staying at in January, there's like various people staying in the compound, so they're like different rooms in the same compound.
Okay.
Yeah, and some guest houses they might be in a building, and it might look like a hotel. So there's different types. Yeah, yeah.
And how is it the hygiene? Like they're fairly clean, or did you find some more clean spots than others?
Some spots are cleaner than others. Some parts are dusty because there's a lot of like construction going on. So some parts are kind of dusty, and but in the main, in the main cities, I mean, it's fairly, it's not nasty, okay, but it's fairly clean, right? Especially go to downtown Addis Ababa or downtown Gondor, it's going to be clean, you know. Um, Maybe some back alley somewhere, maybe they might see some trash on the side, but yeah, it depends on what street you're on or where you are. Uh, but beware of now. Usually when people are traveling from one country to another, because the air and the atmosphere is different, you may catch something. You might catch some kind of, like when I was there, I caught a cold. The first time I caught like something like a cold. Even my friends, they like a cold or flu, right? And they were Ethiopian and they got sick, and then the second time I went, I got something like a flu or something. I even got like a sore throat, and but yeah, but because of the
That
air
was
and
like the first few days, right? Like
yeah,
because
within the first few
you
days,
have to get used to the new environment, kind of. Your
yeah,
body's not used to that, maybe some dust, etc.
yeah, there's might be some dust, there might be some common cold going on in the air, stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Some local people, yeah,
But
but
they're fairly what you say, they're fairly clean. If you can find clean good option with clean rooms and good
yeah,
services, if you look around.
Yeah. Now just know that their bathroom systems are different. In the US, I don't know what it's like in Italy, but in the US, every toilet has toilet paper, right? Over there they use like water, but so you ask them, make sure that you ask them for toilet paper, or you can go buy toilet paper, or you can have travel around with it. So it's a little tidbit there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, this is typical. No, they have water. Some country, I think also in Greece, they use
So
water
yeah,
instead of it's part of their other
yeah,
their
okay.
other culture. You have to specifically to write.
Right, yeah.
Is
So yeah,
yeah, it's also
that's
a
what,
way. I mean, if you think about the pandemic, this would just happen. People going crazy for toilet paper, buying 500.
yeah. In
Like
the West, people are going crazy for toilet paper because
and that was kind of ridiculous. I was like, but like, and how you because I've seen pictures of people with trolleys
yeah,
full of toilet paper, and they're taking all of it, and that
yeah.
was nuts. Like
Then
people,
you gotta go back. Oh, do you have toilet paper? No, we ran out. Come back tomorrow or come back next week. I'm like, it's like,
just think
yeah,
about that. They're
you're gonna be
fucking
trapped
nuts.
because they're thinking they're going to be locked in their house for days or something.
And this is some country like like America. It's some country
Yeah,
like there
yeah,
isn't like people are nuts. We are not gonna never run out of toilet paper. And the second thing is that it's the either people are dumb, they cannot conceive another way to clean, to clean,
it's a
to
culture
clean
thing. It's what
themselves.
we're used to. It's what we're used to.
You know, I mean, it's
Yeah,
pretty basic, right? Uh,
right. Yeah.
and water, it's actually quite a, it's used in many countries, and it's a way for not to, you just don't cut down the entire forest. Uh,
Right,
but this was
right.
nuts for me. Like,
Yeah,
I like that was really nuts.
yeah. Sometimes you'll have to have your trip. Even sometimes if I'm traveling to somewhere and I'm thinking, okay, maybe most restaurants they'll have, if you go to a public place, restaurants, yeah, they'll have like toilet paper, but it depends on, again,
But
sometimes
sometimes,
I'll travel with
some,
some toilet paper in my pocket because I'm,
sometimes
or
you
in
bring
my bag.
some, or you maybe have a little bag. Maybe if
Yeah,
it's not,
exactly. If you
you
have
don't know where you are going, so you don't know
exactly,
if it's super clean
yeah,
or
some
anywhere.
sanitizer, have some water.
Also,
Yeah,
or they have some water, or you'll have a bottle of water or something.
water, yeah. That's
And I
another
think,
thing. Which, yeah,
yeah, and I think that's a pretty smart idea anywhere you go, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah. Drink bottled water. Don't drink water from the pipe. Even people that live there don't drink water from the pipe. That they buy
okay, so
from.
the water in most areas, unless they specifically tell you that there's some water source, it's not drinkable. You have to bring your your own bottle of
Save some,
water.
especially if you're traveling. Maybe people that are local we might take a chance to drink the water there because their body is used to the
Is used to, or they
bacteria.
know where to get it because they
Yeah,
probably know how,
yeah,
whatever, what they're more well informed on the area. But
right.
if you're traveling, just maybe buy the bottles of water instead.
Yes, yes.
Or I
Like the water in
suppose,
your room, travel with it in your bag. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and
How about food? Let's talk about food.
mm,
So you are going around the streets, in the restaurants, eating up, etc. How does that work? You find,
yeah,
for example, what is it you can eat? What is it you should be avoiding? Is it fairly clean in the restaurants, in the
yeah.
small places, or you have to look?
Very clean. Yeah, yeah. You can. The eating is, the food here is more organic compared to in the States. The meats are a little bit tougher, when you chew it over there. But people some people they buy their sheep and their goats or whatever, the cattle from a farm nearby. In fact, even in this, you would see like people selling goats and stuff in the side of the street sometimes in the cities or the suburbs, the parts. I don't know if you've ever had Ethiopian food, but their staple is called is injera. It's like a flat bread, kind of looks. It's like it feels kind of spongy. It's like a round, flat kind of thing made from a wheat called teff, I think, and that's what they used to. And then they they have lamb. Their meats, their proteins is either chicken, so it's doro, lamb, which is beg, or goat. I forgot what the Ethiopian word for goat is. Then you have beef, and then fish, right?
So
They don't have
so
meat
the food
pork.
it's good, it's organic, you can eat it, and you can eat it. Most places you go, you won't get. You just look if the place it's like clean and if it looks okay, from outside, like anywhere.
So the restaurants are really good.
And
Even there's like small shops that may have something, even shops with like coffee, they just have coffee, a little plate resting, a little simple place you can sit with some other people that you don't even know, and you buy coffee and you just drink. And the coffees are usually small cups, not like big cups like this, like they have in America. The cups are like small, so when you drink coffee, it's not gonna make you feel too crazy. That's authentic coffee, because coffee was originally found in Ethiopia, right?
oh,
So
okay,
yeah,
that's fascinating. Yeah, the coffee
yeah,
was
yeah,
originally from Ethiopia. Think about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I'm curious about the meat, right? Because if they're selling off the street, it means they have no refrigeration to put the meat inside, or they're selling on the corner of the street.
yeah. There's refrigeration. I mean, they'll just take it out to thaw it out for a while and then cook it. But
Okay,
there's refrigeration. Yeah.
so
I mean, if you go to
you can buy meat from this area if you want to cook yourself a meal.
yeah, yeah, you can buy meat you can either buy meat in grocery store or from someone that raises livestock. In fact, when I was in Gondor,
So you go
um,
directly to the farmer. I mean, it's
yeah,
nearby the
or the
farm.
market. The market. There's like a market. You go to a
Okay.
market area, people selling chickens, people selling vegetables, fruits, seasoning, spices. In
Okay.
fact, when I was in Gondor, with my friends, um, one of the young ladies there said, "Hey, Jerome, you buy the chicken and you buy the stuff, and me and my sisters will cook it for you, and we come over the next day and we will eat." So we went to a market and we picked a chicken, like a male chicken, a rooster. So and so I bought the rooster, and it was a live rooster. It was a chicken. It was alive, looking at you.
Mhm.
And so I bought it, and then bought the seasonings and bought some vegetables and the stuff, and gave it to her and the sisters, and they said, okay, yeah, come back a couple of days. So they killed the chicken and they cleaned it, and the next day or two, went over to the house, and they served and they cooked it. The chicken that I bought, it was cooked in the pot, Doro what, and they put it in the injera, and they had some, I think they had some salads like cabbage, and you can get cabbage, carrots.
Okay,
Um,
so you definitely know where your chicken come from. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You can just
yeah,
see it. If looks like a good, healthy chicken, that's the one, right?
yeah. That's the one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
yeah,
So food it's good, and yeah, you won't get. Let's say you won't get some country there's risk for food poisoning, but most places you'll get good food, and let's say they're fairly clean, hygienic people. They value their hygiene. So
yeah,
there is all of these services. You can travel. What about inside or long travel? If you have to travel 100 kilometers, say on the bus, or 200, or fly from one city, like you flow from one city with the aeroplane to another, what's your cheapest way, most effective way of transportation if you don't want to spend too much money? Or what are the prices to fly, inside, to fly from one to
yeah.
fly
Good
two
question.
hours inside the country? It's better to fly, to take a train, to take a bus? It's better for you to rent a car, to go with a guide? How do you move inside the country for long distances?
Good question. Yeah. Okay. So for example, when I flew from Addis Ababa to Lalibela, um, I think I paid like, how much was my ticket? 4,000 birr, which might come up to like 100 and something. I might not be accurate in terms of my transferring the currency. Say 100 something US for a ticket, right? To travel, round trip ticket to travel. If you have like points or Shiba miles, actually, I heard you actually get a discount. Like, and I actually missed my discount. I was told about my Shiba miles that I could have used afterwards, but still. But yeah, you can either travel by plane, couple thousand thousand birr, or or you can pay US, whatever. Or you can take you can take a bus, or you can take hire a taxi, and it might cost a little less, I think. You know, you see, I'm trying to think. Now I remember when I went in 2019, we did drive from Bahar Dar, which is near the Lake Tana, which is the source of the Nile. Drove from there to Gondor. That was like a 6 to 8 hour drive. So we took a tour van. I had my tour guide with me. You have to tip your you have to tip your guides, of course. They'll give you a price, depending on how much work they do or how long they're staying with you. You may have to tip them between 50 to 100 or 200 US, which will come up to several thousand, for your guide. And you must tip your driver, you know, tip them like, even, tip them maybe 100 birr or 200 birr, whatever, right? Yeah, whenever someone is helping you for a significant amount of time, remember to tip. You have to tip them, otherwise they may not like ask you for it. Some of them would ask you, like in the airport, sometimes they'll come, hey, you forgot to tip me for that, and they sorry for that. But if you're someone, and you may become friends with your guide. I actually became friends with some of my guides. Maybe still friends, we still communicate. My guide in Lalibela, my guide from Gondor. We're still friends. We message each other on Facebook. One guy, the one from Ladibali, calls me every week. He calls me his brother. And in fact, when I went to Ladibali, I stayed with him and his family for a whole week, for 7 days. His wife is there, his 3 kids. It's very nice. I have some of those videos on my Instagram and my Facebook. Yeah. So yeah, what else did I miss?
Okay, so there is sort of depending on the days, you have to inform yourself what is a good tip. You make a sensible choice, or ask around maybe to the local or to someone who's already been there.
Yeah. Have a
And
tip. Mostly most likely you'll try to have a guide with before like set up for you before you get there. So before I got there, I kind of knew who was going to be my guide. And yeah, the first time I went, I was more informed in terms of how much
so
like
that
I
it's
kind of
kind
got
of you fix a sort of rate before you go, sort of how much it's gonna cost you, and then you just tip a little bit.
yeah, make sure you have enough money for transportation, for tipping.
Yeah.
When I went there, try to have at least 1 to 2 thousand. Well, for me, I had at least 1 to 2 thousand US with me extra. This is not including my plane ticket. Um, I had that with me. In terms of the first time I went, I was able to come back home with some money, with about 1,000 US. But the second time I went, I ended up spending a little bit more than expected. I stayed longer too, anyway. So, but yeah, try to have enough money for traveling, for tipping, for emergency, of course. Make sure you have something for emergencies. Yeah.
So if for to stay 5 weeks, if you're looking for not to spend too much, maybe you can spend 1,000 if you want to enjoy. And we're talking holiday; you're not living there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're living there, you'll get life will cost less. You get to know people, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can bring for one holiday, for one looking around, all of this. How much did you spend, including your ticket? Around about 1,000,
I think I
1,500. Yeah,
in total, I spent about maybe 2,000 US. A
three.
little bit less than that, actually. A little
Okay,
less than that.
so that's
Yeah.
about 3,000 US, the five
Yeah.
week trip,
2,500 US. Yeah, that's it.
2,500
Yeah.
US, including
Yeah.
your aeroplane ticket, or
Yeah. Including my plane ticket, which was about 1,000. My
okay.
plane.
So
Yeah.
inside the country, you spend about 1,500 US,
Yeah. Something like that.
something like that. And you had your an extra, let's say an extra 1,000 that you bring for you, like for extra emergency, like whatever happens, you have no idea what can happen because you are
Correct.
in
Yeah.
some other country, and
Right.
you'll
Right.
keep that maybe in your card, in your saving bank, or you'll have some money that you put someplace that you only know.
Keep it on in your luggage, or on your, somewhere safe
Yeah,
in your room.
somewhere that is like super safe for you,
Yeah.
or
Because you may not have a bank. You may not be able to use a bank there in another country. You may, unless you have like connections, or you have an account there already. But keep it. Some hotels or some hotels may have or guest houses may have a safe, but or you can just keep it in your
Yeah.
room, lock it.
But you can, if you have your credit card or your card, you can pull out money from most banks. It will cost you a
Yeah,
commission, but
I did not try to use my card there. I'm not sure if you can. I know some African countries you can use your card, but
okay.
I'm not sure if I don't think I was able to use mine. I might be wrong, but
So you
uh,
carry some money. Let's say you carry some extra money. Better to have cash.
yeah,
Okay,
better to have yeah,
to
better to
have
have cash.
cash that you carry with you, or maybe you
Yeah,
can have someone like someone you trust in your home country that you give an
yeah,
extra 500 before you leave that he can eventually send to you. He or
yeah,
she can
yeah. They can
eventually
send to
send
you
for
like
you
food.
just in case you,
Yeah.
let's say
So
if I got there, like I'd give like whatever, like some family or some relative, here is whatever, 1,000 or whatever. If I need it, you just send it to me while I'm there. You bring some with you or something like that. So if there is any emergency, you need some more, you just have, like, you are covered. That'd be a
yeah,
good strategy, I guess.
correct. Yeah. So yeah, people usually transfer money through either MoneyGram or Western Union or World Remit. So yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, because like you could, like, whatever, like, was I'm just considering, what if your bag gets, or whatever.
Yeah, bag gets stolen or something like that.
Yeah, or you lose it or something, or
Money
who
gets
knows.
stolen. No, you have to be careful with pickpockets. Like sometimes people, there's some like sometimes young people like trying to they may look like I mean most people are honest and everything, but I actually did lose the first time I went. I did lose like a phone, it was pickpocketed from me. So people, even local people, they lose phones or they may lose some money or something. So good to have like I had like some pants that I carried with me, track pants that had zip in the pockets. Or you can wear an underpants and put your big money in your underpants. Your in your trousers under your main pants, and you can do that. Hide your money. This is for guys anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
you just, let's say you just think about it. You just, it's good if you look after your bags, and you find
yeah,
strategy, or maybe you talk with people who's already been there to the
yeah,
phone. What are the best strategy with other travelers for where to keep the money, how to move? Okay, but
correct.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Is it relatively safe to travel
Oh
in
yeah,
Ethiopia? Like, people are,
yeah.
you say that people are generally honest, and it is,
Oh
and
yeah.
generally safe.
Honest, friendly, accommodating. Yeah, it's fairly safe. It's not. Uh, Even if you Google it, if you search, you say is Ethiopia safe? It's going to say, for the most part, yes. The most thing you have to worry about for travelers, particularly, is pickpocketing.
Small,
So
okay, so small. That's like small thievery from pickpocketing, and that
yeah, very
probably more common in, I guess, question mark, in big cities, right?
correct. Yeah, in big cities. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now and also you're going to have a lot of people like begging. There's going to be a lot of people begging. There's a lot of people trying to hustle. So be aware of that. If you want to help someone out, give them
or
some cash.
people, maybe they're trying to sell stuff that you don't really want, or you wouldn't
Yeah,
like
yeah,
to buy,
that
or some
happens
stuff
quite a
like
bit.
that, right? But I guess if
Particularly,
you have, like a local guide, and
hmm
yeah, he should, like,
yeah,
they should handle it like for you, because they're
yeah, yeah.
accustomed, like
And
they're like,
even the guide is gonna leave it to your discretion of whether you want to buy or whether you want to help someone or not.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you want, you can help someone. Some of the people honestly do need food. There are some homeless people there. Even like you see, like even moms with their babies in the street. Sometimes if you want to help them, help them. If you don't have the capacity to help, just say, sorry, I don't have anything. Be polite. Don't be all mean and stuff. Be polite. If you start getting mean, then they might get mean. You know, or
Yeah.
just
So you have seen you've seen beautiful archaeological sites. You have been up to the Nile, and in front of the river, to
yeah,
Gotham. What is the name of this?
yeah, it's called the Abai or the Abai River or the Nile River.
The
The
Abai
source of
River, or the
yeah,
Denai River. So you told me you
Nah,
made a lot of friends, such as your guide, etc.
mhm.
I guess there is, but you have also seen, I mean, it's a complex society, I guess, right? The richer
Yeah,
people, wealthier, but
yeah,
you have seen like some real, like some, some poverty that
yeah. I
is
saw
it
some poverty. Yeah, yeah. But there's some, a lot of
some or widely
other,
spread you have
little-
seen?
yeah, there's other what do you call it? Blue collar workers, white collar. They are like in between, suburbs, whatever, there's some even some, you might go to a place and you see some really nice houses with gates and they have generators and looks really nice. It's like, oh, this is nice area, another area might be just a regular, some nice basic houses, and then you may go to another area where people are living in like, it looks like simple, like look, it may look like galvanized and you know uh, but they live comfortable. They happy. And then you have people that might be homeless or struggling. They might be on the street. So yeah, you have the different things. It's not like all you won't see like all poverty or squalor everywhere. It's not like that. Not
Okay,
like that.
okay. We're talking about Ethiopia, Eritrea. It's not like that. It's
Yeah,
okay, okay, okay.
yeah. And then there's nice resorts. I still need to go to Awasa. I heard Awasa in the south is really nice. And it's near a lake. So I haven't been able to go there yet, but I did go to Gondor, Bahadar, um, Lalibela. These places I call like Gondor has like these historical medieval castles, that of course it's like a tourist attraction now, but back like in the 11th to 12th century, they were like, those castles were built and they were like royalty living there. And in fact, they call it the African Camelot, you know, Camelot, referring back to King Arthur and all that. Yeah, and then in Lalibela you have 11 churches cut out of like the mountain. Amazing thing to see. Those were built like around like the
And
11th
let's talk
century.
about your book. All of the like images and designs and drawings are based on some of the architecture that you saw there, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. So basically, I kind of went back and tried to figure out, okay, well, this is probably how this castle. In fact, they have like models there. You can find models sometimes either there or online, and okay, this is what this castle probably looked like when it was like up and complete, and this is what maybe the streets may have looked like. This chapel here, where they say they have the Ark of the Covenant from they claim they have that in Aksum. And these are the stele, So yeah, so you can see the ruins, and then you kind of imagine, okay, what was it probably like when people were actually living there or in those castles, and having their their processions and parades in the streets. What it might have been like when the king was walking down the street. Or well, not walking, but they would be on a platform or riding. They'd be pulled by on or a chariot pulled by horses or elephants. Like they actually had things that were pulled by horses and elephants. Back then, they had pet lions that were walking beside them, and they would ride on pet them, and pet leopards, walking around in the forest. This is even up until recently with Haile Selassie, they had these animals, around with them, next to them. There's even drawings of King Tiwodros from Gondor. There's images, there's drawings of him with lions around him. There's even like video footage you can find online of guys riding on the back of lions. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
So they what about the nature and wildlife there? Is there any sites that you
yeah,
explored?
yeah.
Because
I
that
didn't get to go to the really. Yeah, actually, no, I did go to Golgora, which is to the south of Gondor. Yeah, there's the flora and fauna. Um, there's like some deer, not deer, the walia. they're like mountain goats. They have like these kind of curly horns that are very famous there. I didn't see one in real life, but if you go online, you'll see that's one of their main animals there. They have some really nice birds. Uh, you know, I went to the zoo in 2019, and I saw some of the lions and some monkeys. There's some monkeys there that
So they have actually they have lions there, like in Ethiopia. It's
yeah.
or they're originally from Ethiopia, or they just keep them like is that like a
Yeah.
are they are lions from that area or
Well, I saw lions in cages in the capital city, and
oh, okay.
those lions were actually descended. I think they were descended from the lions that Haile Selassie and the royal family had. That's what I was told.
But
But
they probably came like from another part of Africa, right? Because
yeah, well, they probably came from the more to the south where there are jungles in Ethiopia, like closer to I think Kenya and Sudan and that area, closer to the border there. There's more wildlife like roaming around free down there.
okay,
Um,
so if you are into wildlife, you would go down there too if you want to see some of the more diverse wildlife, including lions. You would go down there
I believe so.
if you
Yeah.
like the like jungle, because that's like more on the border, and that's
Yeah.
on this other side of this border, and there is like yeah, because like you said, it's a big country, right? So you
Yeah.
have like huge diversity, I imagine,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of you may have I don't know desert areas where there's
Some
forests.
desert. Yep, in the north. Correct.
You
Yep.
may have mountains. I don't know if there's how many where it's
Oh
like
yeah.
cold
There's,
and
there's huge
maybe.
mountains. Yeah. In fact, Ethiopia is the whole country is elevated, and they have like uh, one of the highest mountain there is Ras Dashen. I didn't got to go on that mountain, but I saw it. They do have like tour guides going there, and you can see some wildlife up there too. But I did not get a chance to
So
go
you
there
have
yet.
lots of mountains over there in
Yeah,
Ethiopia.
lots of mountains. Yeah, yeah. There's lots of mountains. There's even like mountain churches. Like Ethiopian Eritrea is famous for having churches cut out on some of those mountains with very steep sides.
All
Steep
right.
slope. For the ambas. There's very steep slopes, and they sometimes they people sometimes some of those churches you have to climb to get to them sometimes.
Okay.
Maybe climb to get up there. Yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe. Yeah.
And what about because when you went, there were some sort of geopolitical things going on. I mean, I was showing on the media, it's like there's some war or something going on. But
Yeah,
what
there's some. Yeah, there's some.
some tensions? I don't know if it's like a war, but there's some like some
Yeah,
pretty.
it's actually settled. Yeah, it was it settled down now.
It was
It
quite rough. From the
yeah
media. I don't know.
yeah yeah, and then there's a conflicting news coverage. So sometimes I don't know what's some of the stuff they're saying is how much of it is true and how much of it is exaggerated. But I know some people from the Tigray area, which is the area Aksum where the Tigray is where my story actually begins. Surprisingly, you know, in that area is where the conflict was happening, where there was like a group that was trying to break away from the rest of Ethiopia. They had a disagreement with the prime minister of Ethiopia with him postponing the elections because of COVID. That's the reason he was postponing elections. But they thought that he was doing something wrong and they wanted to break away. Yeah, and then some people ended up being refugees and going to Sudan, Uganda, and stuff like that from Tigray. It makes me sad actually to hear about that because I was in, you know, knowing that I have friends that are there or from there, and from all different ethnic groups and all different parts. I have these friends in Baltimore and DC, Virginia area, and to see them fighting each other over there, it's a kind of disappointing, sad. So yeah, so that's kind of and I was concerned about that before I went because I was concerned whether it was going to spread to the rest of Ethiopia. So I kept like communicating with my friends in Ethiopia and even in the regions that are bordering Tigray where the conflict was happening. which like Gondor, that's actually bordering it. I was asking my friends there if it's safe. They said, yeah, it's safe to over here. Nothing's going on over here. But they do have like a lot of police and military presence in the streets and stuff in these quiet areas. You know? Even when I went to Gondor and Lalibela in January, you
So
know, I
there is,
went to
let's say, there's like a region where it's like really, let's say, the hot area, and around that area they have like some places where there are some fires, where there's like conflict. But if you talk with some friends that live there, there probably are some villages or some cities in this area where it's still safe for the most part. Or
yeah, well, yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, of course, I did not go. There's no flights going to the hotspot, which is in the Tigray area, which is where
okay,
stuff and even Adwa is up there.
unless you're a
Um,
journalist, nobody would go there, I think. Like,
Probably, yeah, yeah. I don't know if it's changed now because I did hear that
yeah,
people that have family, I have friends that have family in that area, and at first it was hard. At first, people were not able to call their family or friends in Tigray, but I heard you can call now,
yeah,
because cut off the electricity and things like that to cut down on propaganda. But yeah, so there were no flights allowed to go that area. Uh, but the areas that were close to it, like Condor, there's that it was safe there. There's a lot of police and military presence. Even when I was celebrating Epiphany and in Gondor and Christmas in Naribela, there's
okay,
like a lot of guys in fatigues. And some of them said I'm hired police, and some of them were military. So the police and the military are both wearing fatigue. So it's kind of hard to tell which was army and which was police. Because
okay,
they were wearing like camouflage kind of thing.
okay, okay, okay. So they kind of cover their badges. Nobody really knows. So
No, their badges were open, but
okay,
you have to like go up close to see. But when
okay,
you see
okay,
them
okay,
from far, when you go see them from far or distance, you see the camouflage. So
okay, okay, okay.
also police. There were also police that were not wearing the camouflage. They were wearing whatever colors they were, blue and black and stuff. But
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
saw,
yeah. I get it. I get it. So it's it's
yeah,
what else do I want to say? Yeah, it's mostly like Christian, right? Mostly Catholic order in Ethiopia
yeah. So it's mostly Christian, Orthodox Christian or Protestant Christian and Muslim. Those are the
and Muslims. Okay,
main religions there, the biggest
okay.
religion. And they live
Uh,
together in
they live,
peace.
yeah, yeah. They live together in peace.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. You would say it's a pretty tolerant society, like overall, like in general, and you just
Yeah, tolerant to, but I must say tolerant to conservative values and traditional values. So you can't go there and be all wild and doing
okay.
things.
All right, but yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
I
there's
mean.
tolerance to good. Yeah,
Like yeah, like they're true to their traditional value, but it's not. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's how I meant the
yeah.
question. So you
People
can
still have parties and they have a good time and all that stuff. I'm not saying everyone's perfect, but
yeah,
you
yeah. You
so
have to like you have to understand the culture, like I guess when you go there.
get to
Just
understand the culture and know what is expected and what is not
yeah, yeah,
expected.
yeah. What's
You know,
acceptable? You kind of have
yeah,
to go there and just understand to just like
yeah,
be, ways you
yeah,
should dress or I guess
which is
for women there may be some dressing codes that's it's
yeah,
typically from this
yeah.
area.
Muslim people just pretty decently cover their heads. Even some of the Christians and the Muslims, there's some of the older women there or the younger women there cover
Yeah, yeah,
their
yeah.
But then of course people wear jeans also and
Yeah.
t-shirts and
And t-shirts.
you
Yeah, yeah,
see
yeah.
women wearing jeans, kind of look like Western. You'll
Okay.
see that. So, but yeah, but it's pretty decent.
So I mean, you could talk to a woman if you were on the street, like for ask for some information or
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's a phone
whatever.
number.
Yeah,
Hold on.
for a number. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Because some country you don't like you're not you're not sure what is going on or
Yeah, yeah. Of course, be careful with if like fasting or Ramadan is going on. Don't you have to again know the culture, know
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's
don't
what you're
get hurt.
saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But you
Okay.
want to ask a question? Excuse me. Do you know what a taxi is or whatever the store, that store, whatever. Or issues with her mate or partner. Ask the guy, of course. Don't ask her. Ask the guy. They're
Oh
they're
yeah.
together.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. So can we see your like? Okay. So what is? I will make the last question. What are three tips you would give to like to a traveler that go there? To someone who'd go there for the first time.
Oh yeah. Tips.
Three advice to just
Uh,
as to the
yeah. Just
tradition and the culture, what to do, what not to do. Like
yeah.
three good practices.
Yeah. So okay. So we talked about some of it already. Um. Yeah. Just try to make sure you're traveling in a low key manner. Don't look as if you're lost. Try to look like you're going know where you're going, or have someone with you, or if you're going somewhere and you happen to be by yourself, try to figure out how where it is and how you're going to get there, in the most efficient way as possible, so you don't look like you're lost or get lost. I mean, there's a couple of times when I was looking for a place and most people are helpful, but you don't know if there's someone looking to see, oh, he or she's by himself, they're kind of lost. Let's go. Maybe I try to, maybe I try to, do something or whatever. But yeah, just and make sure you're carrying like uh make sure you get like some people may get vaccines. I think think yellow fever vaccines are one of the main things you need to get. Go to
Oh,
like the websites and find out what vaccines there's like optional. There's some optional vaccines and there's some ones that they recommend that you get. Yeah, most people speak English and Amharic. Some people don't speak English, or very little. But most people understand English or maybe French or whatever. Some people they learn different language too, French or Italian or something. Yeah. What else? Make sure you have your medicines and your vitamins with you, right? In case you get sick or whatever. Things for flu, things for colds, for headache, things for infections, things for diarrhea. I mean, definitely things for stuff for diarrhea. Because travelers diarrhea they call it. The food may not be bad, but just again, in a different place, but the bacteria there might be different, so your body may not be used to it. The first time I went, I felt a little bit of travelers diarrhea, and I had my tablets and
okay,
stuff.
yeah, because you have some. I think somehow it like kind of changes your bacteria flora. If you get in a new country, you have to get all
Biology.
readapted. It
Yeah,
rebalances everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
The first time I went, I got a little bit of that, but once I took my anti-diarrhea tablets or Pepto-Bismol or whatever, I was fine. But the second time I went, I did not get sick from eating anything. I
okay.
felt okay. I got sick from something else. I got sick from the dust. Some kind of flu or something. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay, so like that'd be like yeah, just have a plan as to where you're going. You just look
yeah,
around and yeah,
yeah.
get your good information about your medicine, the vaccination you may need, because there may be like some vaccines like I don't know, malaria or whatever, just that are
Malaria,
where
fever,
they're
typhoid,
like
hepatitis A.
like whatever types of things that are there in the environment that your body is not used to
Yeah,
and that the
yeah,
local are used to that you should be aware.
yeah. And some
And
people go in and don't take any vaccines, but I took some that just to make
and what about traveling insurance? Like if some really whatever, like you fucking like you crash or some shit and like medical insurance or you whatever you like if something that you have to go to a like a hospital or
yeah.
maybe you have something
Hospital.
around your arm or something that like something like that happened that you
Yeah,
need some basic cures or some emergency cures. How's
yeah.
that work? Because some countries you're free. In some countries the medical system it's public and it's pretty
That's
good.
right.
Other countries you should have an insurance. Some countries it's good medical for good free public medical assistance for the locals, but not for the foreigners. For the foreigners
Right.
for certain countries. So what's going on there when you're traveling?
Yeah, that's actually a good question because when I was there and I was like there's times when I was like coughing a lot and I had a sore throat, so me and my tour guide took me to the clinic, nearby clinic, and they take your name, give them your I don't know, yeah, show them your ID, show them your passport, like it's kind of I realize when you have your passport number and they write it down, that kind of is really helpful. Make sure you don't lose it, of course. Make sure no one try to take it from you. Um, but yeah, but I had to pay cash for like Ethiopian money for them to check me and give me. And then they recommended some medicines for me
But
to take.
that's like a private clinic, right? That's not like the main hospital.
Private, yeah, I think it was a private clinic. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a clinic down the street from where I was staying. Uh, so yeah, I paid cash into the clinic. Couple one couple thousand, hundred birr or something, you know. Then oh yeah, when you're going, make sure you you take your COVID test at least less than 3 days before your flight. Your results has to be less than 3 days, showing that you're negative. If you're positive,
Okay.
the one that you fly, the one that you come in, or if you're positive, I think that you have to quarantine for 14 days over there, or whatever, you know,
Because they
quarantine.
test you when you get there as well.
They take your temperature, but when you get there, you have to show them your results, your paper
Okay.
with your results from America or wherever you're coming from. You have to show them it's PCR
And then
test.
obviously you have to be like really extra careful, like in between, like, because if you take your test, like let's say today, and you
Yeah,
fly there after tomorrow, that means you're gonna be on lockdown, not seeing too many people,
right, right,
staying far away, being extra careful, right? Because
right.
if you get there when your temperature is high or whatever, you're simply
Quarantine.
like not getting in the country, you're quarantining. And here's what's up, and you have to find out the information, I guess, as to like if you would be quarantining over there, you have to find out because actually the quarantine has a cost, yeah, right? If you're a foreigner, unless you have relatives and things there.
Of course. Yeah.
But some country you have to kind of pay your accommodation in the quarantine. So
Yeah, I'm not sure what the quarantine is like because luckily I did not have to quarantine. Even though
yeah.
when I was like coughing and stuff, there was concern whether I had COVID or not. But um, uh, I actually already had COVID in November. You know,
So
I
that
was,
that you already had it.
you
Yeah.
had it also. You too.
No, not so sure. Like that maybe was in 220, and I think
Yeah,
it was around January, February, March, April. But yeah, I think it was, but nobody was. They wasn't still diagnosing what was going on here in Italy. Nobody was so sure. The system was overload, and
okay.
I did it at the end of the day. I did it at home. I think they gave me 6 days. From
You did.
my medic, give me the 6 day. He wasn't sure. Nobody was sure. And what I said I didn't go to the hospital because I said there's more chances. Like if this is not COVID, that if I'll go there, I'll get some more.
Get it.
Because yeah, because everybody was just nuts. There was no solution, and
Oh, okay. Right.
what it was the beginning, so nobody really knew what was going on. There was like just testing new things.
Yeah.
So I think that was the COVID because it was
Okay.
pretty bad.
Was
Either
pretty bad.
was it COVID or was a pretty bad cold, but
Right. I
six
see.
days or seven, and I was like back at it.
Right.
It
Yeah, me
was
too.
just
When I was
resting and just taking, I think, a lot of vitamins and eating good
yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah.
oranges and things like that, and like lemons and all that. That worked for me. Like, and I don't know if this was COVID because I think at the time when I had it, because now we're talking, it was this virus was around. They saying from 2019 December
Yeah.
2019. Some people they say the first cases were before, so nobody know how many people they have during this period.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not the expert on the subject, but
Yeah.
whatever that was, it worked too good for me, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was tested
What I'm trying to say,
positive,
I
I
was
I
never
had
diagnosed with this. You know?
your diagnosis right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I had like a puppy nose like in the middle of November. So my family recommended that I stay by myself and get tested. I got tested, and I actually didn't even think it was COVID because all I had was a stuffy nose and stuff, you know. But just in case that, you know, so I ended up quarantining in the house and took the test, and I was surprisingly they said I was positive. I was like, oh, really? Okay. And by the time I got the results, I was already starting to feel better already, you know, because I was taking my vitamins, taking whatever cold medicines, and in a couple of days I was even better. And then I tested again weeks later, and I was negative. And then I tested before my flight. You know, my flight was in the end of December, I tested like 2 or 3 times before the flight, and I was negative because what happened? I took the test too early at first, and then this next one I took, it was the wrong type of test. It was not a PCR test, so make sure it's a PCR test, COVID test, not the regular antigen or rapid test. And then I took, and then I took it again just like 2 days before my flight on the 28th, and it was negative. So then I got there, and then before I left Ethiopia, I had to take it again like 2 or 3 days before my flight and test positive there again before I come back to America. You know, yeah,
All right, all right, all right. So you have to take it when you go in, and you have to take it when you
yeah,
come back. So you have to
yeah,
be like some sort of, you have to be sort of like aware also when you're traveling around there to kind of be safe. But
yeah,
maybe you have to put into account that if whatever will happen, that maybe before you fly back, you may have to change your flight during,
true.
you
Yeah,
know.
true. Yeah,
So you may have a flight that you can actually change. You have to put into account that those costs may be that, and
yeah,
you have to put into account that you may have to quarantine. Most people would quarantine anywhere between 14 to like 40 days. I don't know whatever the number is. I don't know, like whatever the regular,
yeah.
like
It was
there is some sort of government guideline. Like you go on the government guidelines, and you probably quarantine up until you feel up until you feel well, and you take your
right,
next test and you go back. So
yeah, right,
you take in
right,
account
yeah,
like up to 15 days or like whatever,
right. Yeah, definitely.
unless it's really bad, unless you're one of those cases really bad, but then you're like really fucked, like, then you're fucked anyway, because anything can happen. But if
Right.
like most people, you have to put that into account. I'm saying for most people, if they may have a job they have to attend to, places they have to attend,
For
they have to
family.
calculate that may be an extra like 10 days or 15 days or whatever, if whatever happens,
More expensive, yeah. Hence the emergency fund that you should have, which is
Yeah, that should be in your emergency fund, right?
right, right,
And for some situation that you don't know, but it's a risk anyway. This is why I'm saying, if you may be traveling, you have to see what, maybe if there are some convention hospital, there are convention with some insurance or some medical
okay,
insurance for when you are in the country, because you may
yeah,
find, something that you just pay $100 or
yeah.
$100 and you just
Yeah, if you're
covered like
traveling, you may
for
just
all
pay.
events.
Yeah, if you're traveling, if you're not a a resident or a citizen, you may just pay cash. So I paid like like I said, a couple. Even for the COVID test, you had to pay like I think I paid like 1,000 birr or 1,500 birr or something like that, which kind of adds up to the same as America, which is like $100 for the test in America.
All
100,
right, so your test before you fly back, it's like $100.
US, yeah.
Yeah, 100 US
Yeah,
dollar.
a couple thousand, yeah, a thousand
Yeah,
more.
yeah, 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 yeah. That sounds fair, right? And then
Yeah,
if you have to get visited, you'll pay it like whatever that was, and yeah, so
yeah.
that's fair. Yeah.
Of course, you may make sure you have your Ethiopian visa before you enter. You can go online and get a visa for $50 for a month. I think for a month is $50 for I think for 3 months, $75 visa. Just go to the website and get an
Okay,
e-visa.
so three months actually cost less than 1 month.
No, no, it costs more. What did I say? Did I say that wrong? I probably said it wrong. 1 month, I think it's $50 visa. For 3 months, for $75.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it actually costs less proportional. Like you get to, yeah, maybe because if you stay longer, you'll probably spend more money in the country or something like that. I think that's the
yeah.
calculation. So 75 for 3 months, and you'll have like $50 for like 1 month. If you
I
are,
think that's
you're talking about your experience. If you are from America, every country will have probably different.
different. Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
let's.
And I actually got the 3 month one, seeing that I was staying for a little bit more than a month. I was like, well, let me just get the extra just in case, because even if it would have time would have run out, I could have go and got extended visa there. But I rather just had extra for
So
me
you
if I
like you before you flew in, you just like went for like the 3 months one. You just let's do a
yeah
3 months one, and that's it. Like
yeah yeah
whatever happened, if you
yeah
feel like staying some more or
yeah yeah,
whatever, you just, it's
yeah.
just
Just cover it.
whatever. Maybe you have to say an extra, because like 1 month is pretty short, right? So if maybe you have to like say like really an extra day or an extra week,
Yeah, yeah,
that'd be like really terrible, that you have to
right.
go through all of that process while you're there. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's better, let's say it's better, like, from what you say, it's better to just get a 3 months visa, and that way you're safe.
yeah. Depending on how long you're staying. If you know you're staying for a month or less, yeah, just get the 1 month one. First time I went, I just got the 1 month. Second time I went, I got the longer one because I was
Yeah.
staying for a little bit more than a month. Staying for 5 weeks instead of 4. I said, well, let
Okay.
me just
Okay. Okay. Okay.
get the
Yeah. 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 Depends. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
And let's see your book, and Jerome, Matthias, let's see where people can find your book, and please.
Yeah, this is the first book, novel, pretty thick. Makonnen, the Warrior of Light, and you might be seeing it backwards. I'm not sure on the
Okay.
screen, but and you can get it on Amazon, right? For like it's in like 19.99 right now, right? It's a historical fantasy adventure setting in medieval times in the Horn of Africa, comparable to Lord of the Rings and Narnia and King Arthur, but the setting is in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia, Eritrea, right? And it's about they're fighting. He he uh he's a warrior. Makoni, he's a warrior in the kingdom of Aksum, just a regular guy, and he finds himself in a cosmic battle against good and evil. Some creatures attack his kingdom. At first, they thought it was some regular people or whatever, assassins or whatever. But then, as they dig deeper, they realize these are not regular people. They're like from some other dimension or something. So then he realized he has to find parts of the armor of God that's described in the Bible in the book of Ephesians chapter 6. It describes the armor of God, spiritual armor that you put on every day to fight against evil powers, principalities, evil spirits and things like that. That you put on the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the shield of faith, the belt of truth, the shoes of peace, and the sword of the spirit. So the powerful sword is like the centerpiece. It's kind of like Excalibur. It's kind of like King Arthur's Excalibur, kind of like He-Man's sword of Grayskull. Kind of like that. But I drew from biblical sources to get this sword. Like, there's a supernatural sword. In the Bible, it talks about angels fighting with weapons. Also, angels fighting with swords, shields, hammers, bows and arrows. So just kind of transfer that supernatural weapon onto a person, that has, he has these supernatural weapons, or supernatural. So he goes on a quest to find the different parts in different areas. He starts in Ethiopia. So in Ethiopia, if he with different hints and clues, him and is like a spiritual father figure that's going to show up. That's going to help him find help him find the breastplate, help him find the shield. I mean, help him find the sword. He's not going to find all the parts in Ethiopia, but he's going to start there, and then along the way you have these assassins, you have these demon dogs, you have these gorilla beasts, and you have this serpent called Wainaba, who I drew from a legend, from an ancient Ethiopian legend, that this Serpent King used to rule over Aksum, or rule over the empire, and terrorize them, and make them sacrifice a virgin every year. Otherwise, he would terrorize them. So, but he was killed. The snake was slain by either the father or an ancestor of the Queen of Sheba, who visited King Solomon in the Bible. So there's a legend that someone in her ancestry, or somebody, or dad, or whoever, came over and tricked this serpent and poisoned and killed it. But then there's another story that some 3 monks killed it. So I'm trying to figure out which one actually happened. But in my story, I just kind of included that. So in this story, I imagine, well, what if some sorcery or something resurrects the serpent and puts him in a new body, and he wants to take revenge and terrorize Axum again. So this is premise of the story. So then like Makonnen and his uh um his Yoda figure or Gandalf figure, Abashilo, has to find these the supernatural weapons to fight
And
to fight these.
this is like your first book, right? Because you have a second
Yeah,
one coming out too.
second
Okay.
one is coming out. Yeah, second novel should be coming out. I don't know when, but I'm working on it. Yeah, and this was originally supposed to be a comic book series, but I needed to write out the story first in order before you can make a comic book series.
So
So it took me.
let's see a little bit some of the inside of the book. It's just like a common book.
No, it's like
Like,
a novel with comic book style illustrations.
okay, but you have illustration, you have like drawings and things.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I have several. So the book is like about 400 pages, but about 120 of those pages are drawings, right? I originally
Okay.
drew them in color, but it's cheaper to print in black and white. But if you get the ebook, you'll see them in color, right?
Okay,
And you can
okay.
use it.
So you're kind of building like the story like that to just then build the comic book. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this was a palace that was in Aksum. Actually saw the ruins of one of these palaces. And I saw a model, and when I was in Tigray a couple of years ago, I saw a model set up in the museum of what it probably looked like when it was intact. Now it's just the foundation ruins there, and it was like an awesome compound. Like when I saw the model in the museum in Aksum, I was like, whoa, because it was on this big table, this big table, and this like an architectural model setup. I was like, whoa,
Oh,
imagine
okay, okay, okay.
that.
So like you saw
Yeah,
the ruins of it,
yeah,
and
so
then you
that's what it
saw
was.
like the model of the reconstruction
Correct.
on a huge table, right?
Yeah,
And like you
correct.
was like taking pictures and things, and you
Yeah, well,
reproduced
now
that.
in that museum, you're not allowed to take pictures, but
Oh,
with my eyes, I was like, whoa,
oh,
when I saw
okay.
it.
So you just like all like by memory, you reconstructed kind of.
No, actually, I drew this before I saw it. I saw it. What happened? I looked online, and there were some older pictures. I
Okay,
mean, maybe there was a time when maybe they did allow cameras, but they probably stopped. But there were some older pictures of that model
okay,
uh,
okay.
there, and I was able to reconstruct,
So
drew
then
it,
you
drew it.
like saw it, and you was like amazed, like you was like the
Yeah,
wow
I was
moment.
amazed to see. Yeah, I was amazed to see what it, because there was like a smaller one in the museum in Addis Ababa
Mm.
of another palace. But when I saw that one, and I was like, whoa, this probably looked awesome when it was intact and built up. Here's another drawing here of Makonnen with the king at that time. The king was Negus giving Meskel. Like this was a real historical king giving Meskel. So Makonnen meets some. He's in a historical real setting, but I kind of put some supernatural and spiritual stuff around the setting. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay.
Yeah,
Historical real setting, but he has like some you put some like some biblical
yeah,
superpower in it
yeah, yeah,
and some magic, so you make it kind of
yeah,
so it's
yeah.
okay,
And like King
okay.
Arthur. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, even in a lot of history and legends, in the like,
And
they
you're
believe in a lot of supernatural stuff. They're naturally anyway. Like they believe in miraculous stuff, things.
so even
To
in the
take it back
popular
then.
culture, like in
Yeah.
like in Ethiopia, like the stories they tell, etc. Some
Mm.
of these
Yeah.
stories are like in the book, like they have some beliefs of
Yeah.
supernatural powers that are just
Yeah. Yeah. Like either
miracles and
people
things.
being healed or people praying without eating for like many days, or people healing, people like doing miracles, kind of like in the Bible, Jesus and his disciples, they have stories of like historical people like doing that, like doing miracles and doing amazing things throughout the country during this time and before and after. So they have all these stories. Whether you believe it or not, they have these stories. You know what I mean? Even Lalibela, the compound in with the 11 churches in Lalibela that were cut out of the mountain. That was from a vision that the King Lalibela had of Jerusalem. He had a vision, and I think they say he used to go there too when he was younger. But he had a vision, and it was so strong that he sanctioned some people to build these 11 churches. And there's another legend that these churches were built in a very fast, like much faster than you would think, and that angels helped them helped them build it, or angels built it in like a short period of time. So whether you believe it or not, they have these stories that they believe. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So the Makonnen, let's show again the cover, the Scrolls of Light. And this is like the book they can find on Amazon. Okay. With your
Warrior,
name.
warrior of light,
They can find
warrior. Yeah,
Makonnen, excuse me, the Warrior of Light, from Jeremy Matiyas.
yeah.
And you have like this book on. Oh, okay, we can see the cover. You're
So
like
another
showing.
book, this is a comic book that actually just came out recently. That's
Okay,
based on the first part of the novel. So this
okay.
was
So
intended.
you build the comic of it. So because what
Yeah,
happens is that like in order for you to like build the comic first, you have to build the narrative,
story.
the
Correct. Yeah.
story.
So
So you build
yeah.
it, and now you have this book. You just show
Right.
me the cover again. Yeah, you have these like
Yeah.
these, and
Yeah.
that's the real
This is the first
comic
one.
with all of the
Yeah. This is a real
drawings
comic book.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
This is a real comic book.
and that's like
Okay.
a small part, right? Because you're building a series,
Yeah.
so
Correct.
you're
Correct.
giving it out one at a time, kind of.
Correct. Yeah. So this is just based on the first part in the novel already.
Okay,
So
okay,
in this building, each chapter is probably going to be a separate comic book, which is like maybe 20. This 28-page comic book, and I have so I know I had one of my friends, my old time friends, help me with the colors, Mr. Nicholas Carrington, and an Ethiopian friend of mine who's a poet and an author, Jerusalem. Work. She has a lot of books on Amazon also. She
okay.
writes poems and illustrated. I illustrated her poem and I put it in my comic book just to help her out. And but yeah, this is this is going in. Now this particular book takes place mostly outside of the Makonnen world. It takes place like in the heavenly realms, kind of like how in Lord of the Rings there's like a lot of stuff that takes place before Middle Earth. Just kind of like
So
what this
so
book is.
the comic book is slightly different. It's based on the first on the book story, but it is based on so there
Well,
you
yeah,
put
well,
some
even
extra.
yeah, even in my book, even in the novel, the prologue is basically kind of starts like in like a spiritual realm where there's like angels and demons fighting. So this is what this one is about. So even in the novel, the prologue before chapter one, there's like stuff going on. It kind of the setup as to where the good and evil came from, right?
Okay,
With
okay, okay, okay,
Archangel,
okay.
Archangel Michael and his angels fighting the devil and his angels, basically, right? This kind of
So
stuff.
how
And then
long,
after
how
that,
many years? I'm gonna ask you how many years it took you to write down the book, because this is your first book,
um,
and three tips, and then we're gonna close it. You're gonna just say how many years it took you to write the books, and three tips for anyone who wanna approach writing for the first time, and then we close it because I think it's round about enough. I mean, it's
yeah,
we just went through a lot in 1 hour and
yeah,
plus.
yeah, I know, plus, yeah, yeah. So I got the idea for this more than 20, maybe about 25, 24, 25 years ago, maybe longer when I was still in Trinidad. I was like a young adult, teenager, whatever, in Trinidad. I got this one. I got the idea. So, and then so I did some sketches, some notes,
So
summary.
wait a minute. This started 25 years ago. Because how old are you now?
I'm in my mid 40s.
All right. Oh fuck you! Like you look younger, man.
Yeah, people always think I look young. My family age as well. People in my country
Yeah.
actually, in my country, people in
eh,
Trinidad as well. They
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. And this is
Yeah.
like a
So yeah.
myth they say about black people, the people of color, that you don't
Another myth.
cannot tell. Yeah,
Black
but
don't care.
you cannot tell how old they are, right? That this kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah.
say that.
You can see some of my classmates when I see some of them on Facebook. I'm like, wow, you look young, looking good, brother, looking good, sister.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I would say
yeah, yeah.
like,
Yeah. I mean, I do have some gray hairs coming out, but
yeah, I
whatever.
could see like you could see some of the gray. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a mature guy. Yeah. So, but yeah,
So
yeah,
you are
but
in
then
your mid 40s now, like 45. How old are you?
45, 46. Yeah.
Okay, 45, 40,
Yeah.
45 or 46? Which one?
46. Yeah. I try to
All
hide my
right.
yeah. 46. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Ah, you
Yeah.
try to. Yeah, okay, I get
Yeah.
it.
But when I was in Ethiopia, I was able to be 7 or 8 years younger because it's the year 2013 or something. in Ethiopia. You know, they call
Oh,
calendars different. That's another thing you gotta be used to. The calendar, the way they tell the time is different. Like they don't tell like now it's for us. It's like for me it's like 3 p.m. Instead they count from when sun up to sundown. So when it's sun up, it's like 0, and then like 7 o'clock in the morning would be 1 o'clock a.m. You know, and then like 3 o'clock in the afternoon would be, let's see, 6 plus 3 o'clock. It'll be 3 o'clock. Like no, there'll be 9 o'clock. Sorry, it'll be 9 o'clock when it's 3 o'clock p.m. You know, so they
wow.
tell time differently.
So that is how
So
it
that's another
works.
thing.
Like that's how the whole country works.
Yeah, it's kind of like how they do it like in ancient times. Like they count the they
So
tell the time by
but
how
that's
many
how they
hours the
run
sun
it.
has
Like
been up.
that's how they run it. Like the entire service. Like everyone is like,
What they use both. They use the international Western time, and they use when you get then they use local time. So
all
when
right.
so when it's like when you say something in their way, it's local time. So sometimes if you need to make an appointment, sometimes to be on the safe side,
You have to ask,
you
is it
have to
local
say
time or?
yeah. So sometimes I'll say okay, I want to meet you. Come and pick me up this time,
And do they,
Western
like,
time, but this time local time. You know.
okay, do you have like calendars of their years of the year they are?
Yeah,
You have,
yeah. You can get an app on your phone, or
but do you
get
have
one
like a
there.
printed copy, like when it says 2030 Ethiopian?
Yeah, you can find those somewhere. Yeah, I didn't have one, but I had it on my phone. You know, I downloaded the app so I
Okay.
can. Yeah.
So what year
So
are you in Ethiopia or just now?
it's 8 or 7 8 years. So it should be like 2013, I think, in Ethiopia. Yeah, and the first
Okay.
month is in September. The first month is not January. September was
Okay.
the
So
first month.
COVID
So
didn't
COVID.
happen yet. Okay. Trump didn't get elected.
Well, yeah, go back in time, right? Yeah, it's just different. They just count it
Yeah.
differently. Yeah, actually, yeah, man, that's another story. But yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
pretty cool. I like that's pretty interesting, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so it's on and off for 20 something years. No, I wasn't working on it the whole time. Like I had to stop a lot of for several years. I wasn't working on it because I went to school. But I always had it in the back of my head. It was always in my heart. Always in my head. It was always nagging me. It's like literally nagging me. So sometimes I'll do like a little bit of stuff here and there.
So
But I
like
usually
did you
focus.
literally start working like in your 20s? Did you say, "Oh, okay, let's start working on a project like that. It's going to be some story." So like the story started to take form in your head. You started studying more and more
Yes.
about Africa. Then obviously you had to advance
Right.
your education and career. Get
Yes.
basically build a life, whatever, get married,
That's everything. Yeah.
hustle, go work this, that,
Yeah.
this other, like the usual to get, to become a professional. And so you
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
work like you'd work, maybe you'd find like you'd work like for 6 months on it or like 3 months, a few hours, and but it was kind of always in the back of your mind
Yeah. Yeah.
up
Correct.
until just now when you finished, like you had like you maybe
Yeah.
gained some momentum, maybe it was because of whatever
Momentum.
COVID,
Correct.
or maybe you had some more
That was
time,
before
something
COVID.
happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So some what happened? Like uh, so I got like a boost in like 2016. No, 2006. I got like one. That was like one boost to start back again. This is after I moved to this country. I moved to this country in 1998 in America from Trinidad. And I always had it in the back of my head. I went to college when I came here in 1998, so I didn't really work that much when I went to college. And after college, I had to find work, and then like around 2006, I there was different things that happened in my life that kind of gave me a sign that I needed to start back again. I literally had like some dreams, and
2006 you're talking about, or
yeah,
16?
yeah,
2006.
2006, yeah, when I got like my first like boost, like to like start back again,
So
right?
you came like in America, you did like your 4 or 5 years, whatever, of college,
Yeah,
whatever it took for you, three
correct. Yeah,
years usually, whatever. Then whatever you kind
looking
of
for work. Yeah,
then
trying to get.
you got your job, your work, paying for bills, all of that.
Yeah,
From
yeah, trying to
98 to
continue.
2006, you kind of spent, let's
Yeah,
say, 8 years on furthering your education and advancing your career
yeah, something
before
like that.
that boost, like
Yeah,
came back. you know.
Yeah, correct.
The
Yeah.
first one, 2006, we're talking.
2006. Yeah, yeah, correct. So then I started so that's when I first started visiting Ethiopian community and churches. So that's when I first started like meeting more Ethiopians. Before that, I only had like one or two Ethiopian friends that I met in college. So I asked that one Ethiopian friend if he can introduce me to his church or some friends, and he started introducing me to his church, to some friends in the Baltimore area, DC, Virginia area. Started going to the events, going to their holiday celebrations like Christmas, Easter, to get used to. At that point, I didn't really like. I want to make the story to be more authentic, so I wanted to actually experience it and meet people and the language, the food, and everything. So I started doing that, and then like so worked on it for a few years. Started doing a lot of drawings. I think I completed like 4 or 5 chapters between like 2006 to like 2009ish around there. Actually finished like what 4, 5 chapters. Just kind of had it sitting there to marinate, and then I was like planning again. Then some other things happened in life, and almost went broke. Went through some other things that kind of even went through some
Oh, you went,
some things that happened. I,
you went broke. I mean, what happened? I'm
yeah,
sorry, I lost you there. You went.
yeah,
Let's reconstruct. You went to get more
yeah,
and more interested in 2006 in churches and Ethiopian community from your friends. You wanted to make your story really authentic. So you
yeah,
started searching in that direction. Then you went on in life. You went with through the ups and downs. Let's say you had some
yeah,
down and up moments.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Something
2000.
happened, and that's when I got like it's not related to this, but something distracted me, and I ended up losing like thousands of dollars, and almost with
Okay, you got
it was crazy.
distracted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's say you went through whatever happened in life.
yeah,
2016, you had kind of 10 years later. You have okay. You
yeah,
had to work whatever,
yeah, yeah,
get your whatever your things in order,
yeah,
business in order, whatever you had going on. 216, you go back at it at the book. 4 years, you completed 220, 218. When did you
yeah.
publish?
Yeah. So what happened? And like between 2009 and 2010 was like a bad period in my life. Didn't really, things was happening. But then like 2011, 2012, I did some rearranging in my life and started even getting deeper into the Ethiopian community, like even going full time, like
Okay.
like joining a church and everything, and and then and started going to like I live in Baltimore, started traveling down to Silver Spring, DC every week and staying for weekends, staying over weekends. Before that, I was just kind of visiting now and then. Now I was like, okay, I feel like I was like, life is short. I felt like I almost died the past couple of weeks. I was like, I need to focus and get something out because people are asking me they like that. People love the idea. People are asking me for something to come out, and I was like, yeah, I'm working on it. And so I was like, yeah, let me focus. So then, then started. So like between 2012 to like 2016, there was like more planning, more working on stuff, researching. Got to like half of the book. Got like maybe some 8 chapters completed, 8, 9 chapters now, and then got distracted again. Went back to school to get a degree and get a bachelor's degree in IT, thinking that will help me make more money, whatever. Then graduated in 2016 from that.
That was
Uh,
like your second degree.
Second boost, yeah. So like 2016, 2017, I was like, okay, let me stop doing my job searches and freelance stuff. Let me stop doing other stuff for other people. I was even
So that
building websites
you
for other
went back,
authors.
you went back to school. You got yourself
Yeah,
this other degree, whatever, another degree. You basically
yeah,
because you had to kind of
yeah,
reinvent yourself,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Try
and
to, yeah.
then you just 216, 17. You said enough. Back to
Enough,
the
yeah. Yeah, because even to build my portfolio, I started building websites for other people. I built like 4, 5, 6 author websites, and their books were done, but my book wasn't done. I was like, man, I'm building these author websites, but where's my author website? I was like, man, so after I did that, I was like, okay, let me stop. I'm not doing any more freelance work, for like a year or two, and I would come home and I would like just write and draw and write and draw and post artwork on social media, to get feedback from people, and people were loving the artwork. Like I basically had artwork for each chapter. Like each chapter opened with some kind of grand poster style artwork. I'll post it and have like a blurb of what it's about, and people were like getting intrigued and excited. Wow, they're like, wow, this will make a great movie. This will do this. This will do that. I want to see more. When is it coming out and all that stuff? So I was like, yeah, it's coming out soon. I'm going to finish it this time. So by 2018, 19 was when I was like done with this one, and self-published in April 2019. Started promoting it and made some promo ads and videos, social media, and people started buying it. People were buying it, and then I printed like hard copies for myself so that when I go to events like cultural events, like in the area, I would have like hard copies with me and some artwork with me, like framed artwork and stuff and posters, flyers and stuff, and I'll sell those. And people were really liking it. And people were reading it and giving me feedback, giving good feedback, telling me, yeah, when's the next one coming out? Or when is the comic book coming out? I was like, we want to see a comic book now.
No,
We see
well,
animation.
okay. So you got
Yeah,
the support from the people; they were
yeah,
supporting all of that. So you
yeah,
got more and more and more, gained more and more momentum. You completed your first book, so that was a big,
yeah,
was a long time coming because you're talking about 20
yeah,
years. So that,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
was man, that was
yeah,
a
yeah.
whole journey, man. Like,
Yep, yeah.
yeah.
And then I was able to actually go to Ethiopia after the book came, like a month after it was released in
Mm.
on Amazon. I was able to actually go there. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. Made some videos there, and posted on social media to promote, to show people, yeah, this is where Makonnen is from. This is where Makonnen was there. This is Makonnen's life, and this is Makonnen's, this that. So yeah, it was exciting. It was fun, and people from all backgrounds were buying and liking my book. Ethiopians, Eritreans, Nigerians, Ghanaians, Liberians, Europeans, white people, black people, Hispanic people were buying my book and liking it, and all kinds of people, Asian people, it's not just confined to just, well, this is just for Africans, it's for everybody. So it's just a good story. He just happens to be from Africa, but the story is it's good versus evil. It's not like one ethnic group or one race against another race. It's just humans fighting dragons and demons and stuff like that. That's what it's about. Yeah, and bringing people together. Like Makonnen has to learn how to like even the people in this community have to learn to put aside their differences and realize they're actually connected by blood and by spirit, and they have to fight against evil forces, not against flesh and blood, but evil forces, evil spiritual beings, that you're fighting against. Yeah.
Okay, I get it, Jerome. Like, real quick, three tips for any author that would want to start for the first time approach writing, what they should do that you have learned in your experience.
Yeah. First, have your idea like planned out. Like you may have like a general idea of what you want your story to be. Know who your target audience is, right? Like what genre it is and who you're going to target. Maybe even the age group you're going to target. You know, you don't have to be like a like excellent, perfect writer. Some people are concerned about their grammar and and things like that. You can get like an editor to reread your story, and I did get an editor. And there's like software where you like even in Microsoft Word, it can show you where you can fix your grammar or whatever, your sentence structure, or you can even download Grammarly on your computer. Grammarly is a app or a software that it connects with your with what you're using to type, and it gives you suggestions on how you can improve your sentences. You know, so yeah, to have it all planned out. Get someone that can hire an editor. You can pay them or whatever, or you can edit it yourself. Go to Amazon.com and or whatever avenue you want to go and look at the instructions on how to prepare your document for upload to self-publish. Or you can go with a regular publisher, another third-party publisher, and they can help you. They might cost a little more, although there are some publishers that are kind of hybrid publisher and self-publish, so they kind of work with you so that you get more for your money. You know, do some research on that, and then let people know that your book is coming out, or let them know when it's out. You know, send out links. Put it on social media. Build a website or have someone build it for you. Um, yeah, just uh, what else? Just get the word out. Get some, Facebook, Instagram, uh, Snapchat, whatever. Uh, if some people they go to a Kickstarter and they get people to help them actually fund their project. That's helpful. Because you may, in case you want, you know, you can, people in your target audience may be willing to help you write or draw your or fund. They may be willing to help fund your project because they like your idea. You can go to Kickstarter or go fund me. Other people do that. I didn't go that avenue, at least not yet. I may do that in the future, but you can do that. Um, so yeah, just write, and whatever idea you have, write what you like. Write what you're familiar with.
Okay, with Jerome Mattia, the Makone, the Warrior of Light. Write what you like. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for being here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. I had a great time.